We are live. Shannon and Rhiannon, how you guys doing? It's Harry Pedigo. I hope you guys are doing great, enjoying the quarantine, living your best life. We're working on some fiddle tunes today, and the first one we're going to look at as a warm up is Cripple Creek, which you guys know Cripple Creek already. Cripple Creek is like it's a very popular bluegrass song, probably popularized in the banjo, but fiddle players really play it a lot in jams as well. And it's a song that ideally you want to be able to get up to, like playing it like this tempo. Kind of playing it faster with some like improvisations and stuff. And I want you to be thinking about that in your practice with that song. Use it as a warm-up song. I'll play through it real quick just to refresh your memory, and then I want you guys to play it like once the same tempo I played it, then try to play it faster. You want to work on getting that faster. So that's a really excellent song in the key of A, and it focuses on that second octave of the key of A, starting with the open. So after you've played Cripple Creek a couple of times through, what you should do is pause the video, and I want you to really hammer out that second octave of the A major scale. Get really, really focus on the finger placement, and I'll tell you why in a second. But so play that through a couple times, working on really clean intonation, working on nice, long, flowing bowings, flowing bowings. Let it pulling rather than pushing down for tone. I'm getting as loud. I mean, this is plenty loud for me, and I'm not really even pushing down. I'm pulling and pushing up, right? I'm not pushing down on it. The reason I brought your guys' attention to that A major scale was because in the song that we introduced last time, Red Haired Boy, it's also in the key of A, but we see a little bit of a weird element to the song, and I'll explain what it is. In the key of A major, you know how we can tell what key a song's in by looking at how many sharps it has in it? You know what I mean? If you're looking at a sheet of music, to the far left side, the very beginning of the line, you have your treble clef, and then your sharps, etc., and the time signature. So Red Haired Boy, we know it's in the key of A because it's got 3 sharps in it. And one of the sharps is the G, okay? Especially, look at this G right here. If we think about the notes, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, A. And I had you guys play that scale and think about it because the placement, this one here, the G, the second finger on the E string, is sharp in the key of A. Now, what does that really mean, though, to us as a fiddle player? Well, it means that instead of like with a G major scale, that's G natural. It's not G sharp. This is the key. I just played a G major scale. And we end on the second finger on the E string, G natural. But we see that in the key of A when we play an A major scale, it's sharp, and therefore the second finger moves up, literally making the note sharp, right? But this would be a G natural. And I bring all of this up because in the song Red Haired Boy, you're going to see, and I think I've given you guys some sheet music, and if not, I will email you some. You will see that the second finger on the E string is a sharp, right? And so it's kind of a tricky little element to the song to remember when you're playing Red Haired Boy, not to play the G sharp, but G natural, close to the first finger. That being said, let's move on. So we're looking at I want to introduce one concept on measure number 3 of this song. I'll show you where I'm going to play the first part of the song slowly, okay? Here we go. Okay? That was the first part of Red-Haired Boy. I want to call your attention, like I said, to measure 3 because we have 2 A notes back to back, right? You have this. And I'm playing them 2 up bows, okay? Now, that's not marked on the sheet music because Red-Haired Boy, like a lot of fiddle songs, is a song that really kind of, some people will, depending on how fast you're playing it, improvise, maybe slur notes. Right now, just learning the melody, we're not slurring any notes. We're kind of, I guess we say we're slurring those 2. It's kind of a disjointed, reminds me of Bach's Minuet number 1. Right? Like that. But that's really important because just remembering to do 2 up bows on the A's in measure 3 will make sure that you end on an up bow at the end of the first part of the song, which is important because you have a lot of power when you come back down. So check this out. I'll play it again and pay attention, all right? Okay, so that's how the first part of the song goes. So if you're playing, I would recommend right now practicing the first line of the song up to the 3rd fingers on the D string, the G's. So ending there on the 4th measure. Go ahead, pause that, and play this line for me. Just that part. Okay, paused. And we're back. Okay, so we're looking at the next line, the second line of Red-Haired Boy. And remember, this is like a rendition that I learned as a young man, and I wrote this out. So if you can't, it might not be exactly, crystal clear, picture perfect sheet music, but it's functional. It gets the job done. And so when I say I'm referring to the second line, I'm referring exclusively to the second line of the music I gave you. But the second line, we're looking at it there, and look, you see a repeat in the second line from measure 5, the first measure in the second line, and about half of measure 6, right? It's literally just verbatim, exactly the same, pretty much as the first line. So I'm going to play for you guys up until where it stops repeating. We have to get into new territory, okay? So this is the first line and just a bit of the second line up to where it repeats, okay? Line 2. Okay? It's that 3rd finger. It stops on the 3rd finger. And then we're going to have to introduce a new part of the song, okay? So we're ending here. All right? Now I'm going to play this next part. The next part is going to require you to use your 4th finger on the E string, okay? So what I'm going to do, I'm going to play the whole second line, and then we're going to break down the parts that are of interest to us. So from this, the 3rd finger, we're just going to add a 2, 3, A, E, 2, 3, E, all ascending notes from the 2nd finger. And then after that open E, that's going to be where you really have to work on that 3rd to 4th finger little run there. So I'll play, all you're adding is Play that for me. I'm playing a third finger, fourth finger, third finger, open. And that is coming straight from measure number 7. 3, 4, 3, E, 3, 4, 3, E. Hammer that down. And look at my distancing on this fourth finger, man. I mean, it's not a tiny. I mean, if you really stretch it, I mean, that's why fourth finger exercises are tough. It's a stretch, dude. But you're adding that to an A1, 2, A1, 3 on the D, A. You're playing. So to play the entire second line. That part is kind of tricky. A1, 2, A1, 3, A. But you can do it one more time on the second line. Very good. So you want to make sure you get that hammered out and get that like really polished to like a lovely level. I'm going to give you one more technique for improving fourth finger usage. Okay, what you're going to do? You just play a game. It's called. It's not a fun game, but you can make it fun if you imagine, like John Lennon. Rest in peace. Imagine there's no heaven. Just kidding. I'm just kidding. No more jokes. But you have to imagine it's fun. It's really good training. You basically just stop playing opens, right? You stop playing open strings altogether. So if I'm playing a G major 2-octave scale. Using my fourth finger instead of the opens, because remember, with the violin, it's tuned in fifths. There's 5 notes in between each string. G, A, B, C, D. So that fourth finger on the G string is 5 notes. 5 notes. Actually, this is weird. You guys, I know you're watching this in the future, but Michael just texted me. So what about that? Crazy. But it's 5 notes in between. The distance between each string is 5 notes. So you could play fourth finger on the G string instead of open D and vice versa. Play a fourth finger D string instead of open A. So it's really good practice. Do all your scales like that. You do a 1-octave D major. 1-octave A major. That will get you whipped into shape. Listen, you guys are awesome. I wish we could be meeting in person, but I just hope you guys are having a lovely week. I hope that you enjoyed. This is one of my favorite songs to play on the fiddle. And if you guys like, Shannon, if you want to look at a guitar rendition of this song, I do know this melody on the guitar, kind of an arrangement I put together that's really fun, good fourth finger exercise. Okay, until next time, you guys be safe, have fun, practice. Practice makes perfect.